This is John Polrai. I'm coming to you from Tokyo, Japan. This article here is from Nikki Swift. It's called Tragic Details About Jason Momoa. On this channel, I do celebrity news, Death vs. Heard, things like that, but I never really take a deep dive into the celebrities, and I never really get into details about them and their life. So I wanted to take this time to get into some things about Momoa, since he's pretty big in the news right now, pretty big in the scene, in the Hollywood scene and everything. So let's take a look at what we got here. It's hard not to love Jason Momoa. Not only does the Aquaman star always give off warm and friendly vibes in interviews and through his social media, but he truly seems like a fun person to be around, one who hasn't been jaded by Hollywood. The Hollywood native has been in the spotlight for some time, though making his debut in 1999 on Baywatch Hawaii at just 19 years old. See, I didn't know that, man. I found out about him through Game of Thrones, so that's new to me. I mean, I remember seeing pictures of him here and there on the internet on Baywatch, recently, but I never knew. While he managed to land other roles from there, like the TV series Stargate Atlantis, it's safe to say that it was the hit series Game of Thrones and the film remake of Conan the Barbarian that launched him to fame. Since then, Momoa has become a household name, appearing in major blockbusters like Aquaman and Dune. And Dune was very good, by the way. Although Momoa comes across as big and tough on screen, he's often referred to by his co-stars as a teddy bear. His Game of Thrones co-star Emilia Clarke even gushed on the Armchair Expert podcast that on set he was so kind and considerate and cared about me as a human being. When Momoa isn't charming people on and off screen, he seems pretty low-key in his personal life, revealing to E! In 2018 that he liked to spend his downtime cuddling babies, kissing my wife, just being with my kids. However, in January 2022, Momoa made headlines for a shocking and sad split with his wife, actor Lisa Bonet. Because of Momoa's unusual positive demeanor, fans may not know that the actor is no stranger to tragedies, which is what I mainly want to get into, because most of us know the happy stuff. Jason Momoa was born in Hawaii but actually grew up in Iowa due to his parents' divorce. Momoa explained to Star Advertiser, "My mom made it over there to Hawaii in the 70s and met an amazing Hawaiian family and had me." So they explain here that he was born in Hawaii but actually grew up in Iowa because of his parents' divorce. So maybe some people go around thinking that he's from Hawaii, he lived there, he grew up there, he's a surfer boy, things like that. But apparently, most of his upbringing was actually in Iowa, which is really, really, really different than Hawaii. I don't know it so well, but if I'm not mistaken, it's, kind of a farmland type state where Hawaii is like, this oceans and beaches and tropical stuff. So, yeah, really different there. And he did say he was pretty homesick, which I guess I would be too. And he complains that there was no diversity in Iowa, meaning diversity of thought, not necessarily diversity of people and race and things like that. But I think what he was getting at was thought of mind and point of view, way to look at life. He says, and with no diversity, you definitely have a singular view of what the world was. They said his mother also had a really hard time making ends meet, couldn't afford a babysitter, stuff like that. So he did not come up from some rich background where he was already in the game. While it's hard to imagine Aquaman being bullied, Jason Momoa admitted he was tormented as a kid and had a hard time fitting in. The Frontier actor told InStyle that he was harassed by bullies because he stood out as the only mixed-race kid in his school, explaining, "I'm definitely a product of two very opposite worlds." He continued, "I got beat up a lot just for being slightly different. It was gnarly." Okay, if he says so. I don't have experience. I grew up in New York, so the school was pretty diverse in New York. We had, a fair mix of everybody there. Momoa revealed that the other kids also teased him for his artsy skateboarder style. He recalled, "I wore Birkenstocks in middle school, and it was like, you are a freak." It probably didn't help that Momoa didn't have his famous bulging muscles yet, telling EW another reason he was picked on was because I was small. He pointed out, "I graduated when I was 16, so I was the youngest boy in my class." So he says, "I love Iowa, but just didn't fit in." He believes if you're a Hawaiian kid in Iowa, you're kind of a fish out of water. he apparently didn't have it any easier back in Hawaii either. He dished, I went back to Hawaii and got ostracized there too, explaining to InStyle that he wasn't seen there as a local since he grew up on the mainland. Despite his difficult experiences in Iowa and Hawaii, Momoa claims, I love both, but just made my own path. So it seems like he's had a good attitude all along, no matter what's been happening. So here, he talks about his eyebrow scar, which I always saw and I never thought too hard about it. And he said that he got assaulted by a guy in a bar who gave him that. And he said the guy smashed a pint in his face. So that doesn't sound so good. And apparently the scar's with him forever now. He said that he had reconstructive surgery. That can't be fun. But on the plus side, it also helped him get those badass fighting roles, stuff like that. So I guess it served some kind of a purpose. There was some kind of a silver lining there. He said he got called pretty boy a lot, which I guess is kind of an insult. Not really. I'm kind of neutral on that. I'll take it, I guess. He goes on to say that he actually got 15 stitches at the time when he got that injury, and the guy pleaded not guilty to assault. Apparently, there's nothing said about the guy going to jail, suffering consequences, anything like that. Maybe he did, but it's not mentioned. They also say that he struggled financially during Game of Thrones. Yeah, I would imagine it's, maybe his first breakthrough role, his first huge role, and a lot of times they get paid good, but they're not hiring someone who already has a name and the star power and the ability to draw viewers, so they can kind of get away with paying them not so much. Like I heard the actors from the Star Wars series, which is absolutely horrible, by the way, but the point is they were unknown and they got paid like $225,000 each. So for that magnitude of movie, that's a real low salary because their names alone couldn't draw anything. They were all riding upon the franchise. And I guess, that's what happened with Momoa. He gets into Game of Thrones, but no one really knows him. So they probably gave him like a, okay-ish amount of money. And he said he was struggling on it. Despite the show's success, Momoa was still in a lot of debt, struggling to pay his bills and care for his family. He recalled to InStyle, we were starving after Game of Thrones. He explained, I couldn't get work. It's very challenging when you have babies and you're completely in debt. And he said playing Khal Drogo pigeonholed him into that one role, and I think what people say is typecasting. So you're cast as a certain type, like, Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker was that Jedi, and he couldn't really move too much after that as far as like major movie roles, because that's who he was. Everyone saw him as Luke, and I'm sure it happens to plenty of other actors. And he claims he couldn't even get an agent for 2 or 3 years, something like that. Wait, excuse me, 3 or 4 years. That seems like a long time to go without an agent. And then they mention the eye incident on Aquaman, which I guess is still somewhat mysterious. There was speculation that Amanda was involved in that, but obviously there's no proof. No one remotely said it, so we're not sure what happened. But on the Ellen show, he revealed that he hurt his eye on Aquaman, and he said he got a hernia within, the same time period. So, all right, he got a little messed up, but that's nothing tragic that no one faces. Everyone gets, I guess, a little bruised up and things here and there. And James Wan said that he was in like this swimming rig thing, like where his crotch got kind of crushed. So, sounds pretty bad. But at that point of Aquaman, I'm sure he got some good pay to make up for that. He also said he got a broken femur, broken ankle, and knee and shoulder issues. Okay. And at the end, of course, they talk about Lisa Bonet, but they don't offer a reason definitively, which we're still, kind of thinking about. I predict years from now, something will come out, maybe sooner, but I don't think we have all the info yet. They blame it on transformational times. I'm not really buying that. You guys, let me know what you think down below. Doing shoutouts, special thanks, things like that. That'll be fun to cover some history of an actor I talk about once in a while on the channel. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. If you don't subscribe and you've thought about it and you still don't, I guess it'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.